The Neo-Reality Entertainment brand expands with a relaunch of the Neo-Reality Collective Pop Culture News Talk. Your host, Eric Brown, gives his insights and thoughts in the ever-expanding news world of comic books, professional wrestling, gaming, TV, and movies. Be sure to donate to the brand and keep up to date with additional content on YouTube channels such as Neo Reality Entertainment, NRE The Wrestleverse, and NRE Pop Culture Omniversa.
Since the days of Secret Wars, the day everything changed for the Marvel Universe. Ever since Jonathan Hickman took over the run of Avengers and New Avengers, took over the days of the Ultimates, Jonathan Hickman has been having his Hickmania era too ever since he came back with House of X and Powers of 10. Starting off with that event, with those two storylines, then doing some stuff with the X-Men, doing the Krakoan era, and the Krakoan era is going strong, and I hope they don't go to the creative standpoint of going back to school, because that would suck immensely. To the iconic clash of Nimrod versus the X-Men inevitably. So, after Hickman left X-Men, we were curious as to know where he was going to next. He did a couple of short stories here and there. He did a story with Moon Knight. We all thought he was going to go on Spider-Man. And let's be real, if he went on Spider-Man, there was probably more of a chance of him getting a happy life than what they've been doing with Zeb Wells' Spider-Man run. So, I pity you, man. I pity you. So, that had all happened. That all went down. We know the rest is history. But now we face, what would Hickman do next? There's still a long ways to go between now and the event and the story of our times called Gods, Gods, by Jonathan Hickman and Barry Skeety, with colors by Marty Gracia, which will be their tale of the Sandman universe, of Sandman, which they described as the Sandman of the Marvel Universe, and it will be an epic tale featuring mysticism and science and all the gods and cosmic forces and spiritual entities going to war for the spirit of all of creation. So basically, they were going to introduce a new origin for the Marvel Universe after Hickman already did that with the Builders, and then they did it again with the Beyonders, and then they did the Celestials, the Dark Celestials, and Gods. How many created Marvel Universe origins are we going to keep going for? Heck, Mark Waid's little history of the Marvel Universe was outdated instantaneously the moment they started retconning stuff after he was publishing that book. Like Apocalypse casually mentioning, oh yeah, by the way, The Fall of the Bronze Age, yeah, that was totally me. And that was by Jonathan Hickman, so we all know how that worked out. But yes, the Ultimate Universe would be his grand, epic next big chapter in the epic saga of Hickmania 2 of Marvel. And we had learned recently that had Hickman never been given the offer to come back to do X-Men, he was going to go to DC and work on the New Gods and the Legion of Superheroes, something that Brian Michael Bendis took over for the Legion of Superheroes, which involves aging up Jonathan Kent because everyone hated that idea. For God's sakes, what were you thinking, man? I think this was Danny Boyd's a little editorial-driven mandate. I could be wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was Danny Boyd being an edgelord. And then there was the whole New God stuff that they were around, then they disappeared, and they're currently MIA at the moment, and we don't know when they'll be back in the comics. And we don't even know what happened to the Legion of Superheroes since iteration. They've kind of disappeared after Doomsday Clock. Yeah. Notice how concepts and characters just look like they're going to be set for a new cornerstone, and then they just disappear nowadays. Oh, the olden days, won't it? Well, I would have been all interested to see what Hickman brought to the table with the New Gods and the Legion of Superheroes. I hope we still see that one day whenever he does go to DC, because Marvel definitely doesn't want him to leave anytime soon. Heck, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, he said a few years back that the X-Men were his last big project, the last big dream project he wanted to do, and all the remaining stuff was at DC. Superman, Wonder Woman, the Justice League, and there was rumors that he was given the offer to do the Justice League during the Rebirth days, and then Marvel was like, can you come back, we'll give you anything you want. X-Men, anything you want. X-Men, anything you want. We still don't own the movie rights. X-Men, and goddamn it, and I would be surprised if they would have offered the ending of One More Day just so he didn't get X-Men until Disney bought it. But he got X-Men, and the rest they say is history. And with the fall of X looming ever so closer, and my paranoia of Romero editorial thinking we should go back to school because the MCU exists and we can't have the comics do their own thing and, just do that. But, yeah. So, Hickman, between now all the way to September, is doing an event comic. Okay, sort of an event comic. It's more like an event miniseries. This sort of a miniseries that could impact certain elements of the Marvel Universe. I'll get to that in a little bit. But it involves the transformation of the Marvel Universe featuring the Maker and the return of the Illuminati. Oh, God. So I wonder how much destruction they'll bring while saving the world. Quote, unquote. And their war against the Maker and trying to, bring back the Ultimate Universe, and, well, Miles Morales is at the center of this whole event, apparently, according to the solicitations and details, which has led me to think that Miles Morales' Spider-Man book is coming to an end, and he will be moved back to the Ultimate Universe because the Marvel 1610 universe does technically exist in the main continuity, if you include the Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse systems, since they have been referencing that Marvel 616 does still exist in the comic and it's not the MCU universe, which leads to a whole host of complications that I cannot get into, because then we'll be here for a lot longer than I'm pretty sure we'll be here for. But yeah, Jonathan Hickman, Bryan Hitch, Andrew Currie, and Alex Sinclair all got together and have compiled their first of 4 issues of Ultimate Invasion. The transformation of the Marvel Universe begins here. And Bryan Hitch coming back after his groundbreaking stuff with widescreen storytelling such as The Authority and the Ultimates. I'm not going to talk about the writing of Mark Millar, but Warren Ellis' run with The Authority was great. And nowadays Warren Ellis is known for other things. Also, here's the thing. I don't know if I ever mentioned this in my review of The Authority stories by Warren Ellis and Bryan Hitch, but I always looked at Bryan Hitch's artwork and I think, okay, it's good, it's really good, but why do I always get this vibe that like they use some metal alloy on it? Like all his artwork from Venom, from back then even to now, they always have this vibe for me where I get this metallic alloy coming from them. I don't know why that's a thing. I don't know why I keep thinking that they have metallic alloy on them, which means Iron Man is possibly the most authentic of the characters. And then you get tech and equipment, it has the metallic alloy. But all the character designs, they don't look... What's that word I'm looking for? They don't look like... They look more like metallic suits than usual. Like there's always this feeling of metal alloy added to it in the post-arting design. I don't know why I get that vibe. It just confuses me. But this also features the return of the Inhumans. Black Bolt is back. For God's sakes, what the hell, man? Where the hell have you been? Here's the thing. I thought they were all killed off by Charles Soule during the Death of the Inhuman storyline all the way back in, 2018? I never read that. That was my assumption because that was the last thing I heard about them. But yeah, they had disappeared for a long while, ever since X-Men came back into the fold of Marvel's main powerhouse, since, they spent years trying to downplay the mutants and replace them with the Inhumans because that was a thing that no one understood. And Marvel seemingly is under the impression that we can't have both, you have to pick one or the other, even though they've existed since the 60s. And no one complained. Heck, Miss Marvel was originally supposed to be a mutant, But because Fox had the rights to the movies, and Marvel was still bitter and angry, and Disney probably had a role in this as well, they said, no, you gotta make her an Inhuman. We can't make her a mutant. And now it looks like, judging by certain evidence, that, yeah, they look like they're going back to that. They're going to go back on that and bring her more into her MCU synergy. And someone on Bleeding Cool, I can't remember who, wrote an article how they could merge Kamala Khan's powers with, I know I'm not talking about the comic yet, but I just wanted to get some things over with that involves a whole bunch of stuff that makes no sense. It's just me getting on a tangent here, sorry. But I wanted to bring this up. So one of the things that was brought up was that Kamala could still have her comic powers, but they could add Armor's ability, a character, it's so complicated, a mutant who has Armor construct abilities. They could merge them in when she's resurrected, because they've been doing this gene pool thing where some of the mutant genes, when they're resurrected, starts changing and merging and adapting into something new. They could do that, but we don't know. We'll see. But, they certainly spoiled her return with the Iron Man Emma Frost thing. I'll get to that in my episodes. In my main episodes. But, so the humans are back after 4 or 6 years. I don't know how that was humanly possible. And now we see Charles Xavier is back in the Illuminati, and I'm curious as to know if they ever bring up Reed Richards and his conversation and the mind erasing thing, and if they'll ever bring up the Maker and Charles Xavier wearing very similar design aesthetics. No one's gonna bring that up in the comic. They have to make that joke eventually. But yeah, let's finally get underway. This is issue 1 of Marvel Comics' Ultimate Invasion, and I'm surprised they did not go with Ultimate Rebirth, because of course they would reference Jeff Johns in some way, since he did work on Avengers at one point in the comics. Yeah, it's an old run that was never really talked about, but anyways, let's live, drink, and be married, and tune in to Ultimate Invasion issue 1 and see the Maker's grand transformation of the Marvel Universe begin now. Chapter 1, Good Artist's Copy. Oh, don't worry, AI will soon ruin that for everybody. They already did for Disney's Secret Invasion for many. 2 months ago at the Water Tower Place. Okay. We go into a building where a white van, so you know this is a sign of dangerous inconspicuousness, are currently moseying around town with what seems to be SWAT level soldiers going ahead and entering and in the van ready to go to war. We're here. 1 minute. Point of entry. See the window beside you? If you look out, you'll see a big building. Go ahead, draw a straight line between here and there. We're going through the front door. We're gonna walk right in. How many guards? Was this part of the plan? Were we supposed to do this? A lot. Along with automated firing platform and security system that can't be externally hacked or disabled. But that's not what you should be worried about. Okay, what is? Same as always, getting out with what we came for. It's time. So it seems like one of the soldiers have second thoughts. So they come in, enter the main building, enter it, and when they turn around, they start when the security notices, oh shit. And of course, they start wailing on them with sonic cannons, and yeah. And the soldiers respond back, only to realize there's a protective layer of shield energy on it. How am I not dead? I can't believe I'm not. It's not luck, you idiot. It's the suit. Now focus on the job. Yeah, shouldn't you have gone that over with the guy when this whole thing started? Well, beforehand. So they take out the guards, kaboom, widescreen event, blah 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 blah. And one of the break-in soldiers said, "Felt that one. We gotta take that thing out. I'll tell you what, you find the manager and lodge a complaint, and I'll try something a little more direct." And then the missile fires at him, only for him to release a black hole grenade, which sucks in the missile and everything else in the vicinity. So, yeah. A woman tries to move around, and then her hand gets stomped on, it seems, from what the feet seems to indicate. Oof. Excuse me. Are you the manager? I'm not the manager. Yeah, but you do have a key, don't you? I'll take that now. Got the first one. You too. What do you think you're doing? What do you want? $1 billion. This isn't a bank. We know. And then he shoots him. Oh, that was pleasant. So, this looks like something from the Captain America the Winter Soldier with all this unexpected stuff. But, yeah, that doesn't end well. Did I hear you say $1 billion? Yes. Going in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so shouldn't my share be a quarter of that? Did you find the job? Plan the job? Did you do anything at all before yesterday? No. Then just take your 10 million cut, say thank you, and be done with it. I'll clear. Okay, now I'm starting to feel like this is Call of Duty. Let's hope the hackers aren't in this. So there's a giant pile of money waiting for us when we step out of this elevator? No. Okay. But behind the door, there's a giant pile of money. Okay, can you stop with your social commentary? No. There's a man. What? A man? Who happened to promise a giant pile of money if we got him out of here? Access code? It's, 1610. Subtle. It's green. We're good to go. Let's get paid, people. And the soldiers come in and find a naked man meditating, staring out in the cosmos from his screen, and says, "Right on time. Did you bring what I asked?" Yeah. One of the soldiers unloads his backpack and revealing the Maker's helmet. And long and behold, we see Ultimate Reed Richards. Fantastic. Here you go, sir. We brought a change of clothes, too. First things first, agreed. Where's our money? Where all money is. Floating in the ether, awaiting summons from an imaginary state to a more believable fiction. That sounds like you don't have it. I promise you, whatever it is, I most certainly do have it. Am I really supposed to believe this guy did all this from the inside of a prison, but he couldn't get himself out? The trick is not escaping, it's escaping without anyone knowing you've gone. My captors, benevolent souls that they are, deemed it necessary for me to rescue the required care civilized society demands for those touched by the world in a particular way. But they also knew that I was, well, so very me, so precautions had to be taken. And thus, instead of one therapist, I saw a rotating team with them. It took an eternity, a full 37 sessions, to mentally break and reprogram them, so as to send them back into a world full of purpose. I beget them, they beget you. And now you are here before me. Take off your masks. Please. Why would we do that? Just do it. Each of you were recruited for the job. I chose you out of my flock, carefully examined each of your profiles and Who are you? I'm Jackson. Dominic Green, Mystica Slope, Randall West. But you are Jackson and not Kenneth Conrad? Keith got itchy and snuck out of the safe house 2 days ago. He died in a car wreck about an hour after that. Freak accident, we had to improvise. And unforeseen complications of impatience and ethiol. Trapped here, I'd be forgotten what most people call discipline. I, of course, planned for overlap, but the genetic sequencing was for you for a reason. And each and every ingredient is what makes a good soup. This will present as a less than 1% anomaly, most people would miss it. But I wouldn't, and he certainly won't. Which vexes me to no end. I suppose my choice is now a subtle prayer or a more on-brand message. It was last minute. This was the best I could do. Oh, your best? There was one of my therapists in here who, before I did what I had to be done, did have the surprising effect on me. He encouraged me and challenged me in a way I did not believe was possible. His ideas of acceptable goals and personal betterment were particularly short-sighted, but he already did make me want to be a better man, and a better man with better goals. He then reduces all of them into a genetic mustard cluster of fucking human transformations. So, typical Bryan Hitch artwork with when it comes to the gory effects. So I'm trying to be better. He then walks away. Yes, the human body mutates and composites into something new and ugly. I really am. But I do have limits. Revealing that he has created a duplicate Reed Richards, all drooling at the mouth and dumb and meditating. Marvel Comics presents Ultimate Invasion! With special thanks to Donny Cates. Yeah, here's the thing about the Maker and his role in the Ultimate Universe. Ever since the Ultimate Universe was destroyed in Secret Wars, and clearly from this event comic they're doing, it's gonna get better after a slight little walk, Donny Cates had some involvement with this. You see, after the Maker was presumably killed off in Secret Wars, he then came back after Hickman Mania, and Donny Cates really did the most with him, but he was always walking around, being in the shadows, trying to get home. Though this raises a rather interesting point I wanted to bring up. Didn't the Ultimate Universe already come back on like 3 different occasions? Like, there was Spider-Man 2, there was the Reed Richards that got to Ultimate Universe, and the Ultimates were missing, and there was just mass chaos, so Ultimatum happened all over again, thanks a lot. I'm just confused, really, on the whole thing, because I was like, wait, did the Ultimate Universe come back, or did everyone just forget, were we supposed to forget that happened and not read the comics? Because that's kind of a bad business plan if you're saying this story doesn't matter because I said it didn't matter. Anyways, we get the dreaded, most evil form of the known power of the universe. Data pages. Yep, the data pages are back by Jonathan Hickman, because he has a style and he's gonna follow through it, damn it. Damage Control Remote Prison Quarantine, Prisoner Manifest, 1610, Ultimate Universe Clearly, 02 SA, 01 SA, 04 SA, 03 SA, Secure Access, 03. We got 01, which is Project Pegasus, which is restricted, Blackguard, which has been destroyed, Fury Access, which is classified, Prisoner 1610, The Maker, Multiversal Reed Richards Divergent, and number 5 is the Negative Zone, because of course the Illuminati would have that still. Danger. Prisoner possesses universal intellect combined with megalomania and personal dissociative disorder. Order. Level 1 restrictions are in place and extreme caution is advised. So we go to then we cut to 6 weeks ago in the Blackguard building. All around us, our cities are crumbling. Black Panther says, I know that might consider something like this the apotheosis of Mondari's blight, but I would not count myself among that number, nor you, Reed. So why are we looking at rubble? So Black Panther with his White Panther guards, the task force of Wakanda, even though I could have sworn in continuity he was no longer the king and he was actually exiled from Wakanda, and he's currently part of the Avengers, but we don't even know the date of this timeline. All we know is that it's after Krakoa is formed. So Reed Richards does his own quote, "It's best when beginning these things to remember how much harder it is to build a thing than destroy a thing. When I saw the footage, watched the explosion of the building go down, I couldn't stop thinking about it, like my mind was trying to solve a puzzle that didn't present as one. So I tried to take a closer look, but wasn't allowed to. And then, like manna from heaven, my good friend with years of government influence and convictions came for a visit, and I just had to show him the sights. You have no idea how thick the red tape is on this one, for which we can infer that something was hidden here, and no one wants to talk about it. One question, why are we both pretending that you couldn't find a way to take a look if you wanted to? I was recently something of a rule-following phrase, T'Challa, after I sent my kids and Ben Grimm's adopted kids into another dimension for a year. Yeah, that happened. I'm trying to show some restraint, T'Challa. How is that working out for you? Not well. Well, at least we now know Reed Richards is gonna go crazy. This is why you had trouble getting access. You see, the government isn't covering for anyone. They're directly involved. My contact says this building was hiding a secret damage control node. Do you have any idea who they could have hidden here? Damage control? Damage control! We got the rage! Control the stick! Okay, I know I need you to make that reference just to add here. Damage control? Oh my god. Then they find themselves in the prison of the Maker. You can breathe now. He's still here. Perhaps. Is that really you, Reed? Are you really me? If you can't tell by now, could you, Wolfer? So, the corpse melted into goo and vomit, so that was great. You're the smartest man in the universe, Reed, and now there's an evil version of you loose in the world. He's been loose for God knows how many years. How was he captured this whole time? This has to be handled quickly. Where do you think the Maker's gone? I'm less worried about where he is, and more worried about what he's doing, and why. Then we cut to a week later in the Baxter building, where the Maker is casually walking around the Baxter building. Dad? Oh, his son. Dad? And his dad and Maker Reed goes ahead and shushes him. And accesses Reed Richards' data and sits in his what seems to be like a cerebral chair, but not really. There you are. I knew you had it in you. Then we get some narration. So what did he take? The next day, the Necropolis. I'm not sure. He closed the loop, covered his tracks well. What we do know is where he went after that, don't we? And then beholds the Illuminati, featuring Black Panther, Black Bolt, Boltagon, Namor, the Submariner, Black Panther, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Charles Xavier, with Reed Richards convening in the obvious darkness because we have to be as evil as possible. So they're not going to bring up the fact the last time they formed together, it nearly destroyed the world. Actually, it did destroy the entire universe. He came to Wakanda and successfully stole enough vibranium to forge into who knows what. Then he appeared in a new Octalson and made off with 4 inhuman Terrigen spears, each one of them enough to power a large city for over 1,000 years. I'm trying to wonder, how does he get through all this and no one, and the dog's clearly sleeping, so how did he get past that? How did he get past all of this? I know he's the world's smartest man, but there has to be some practicality involved. Okay. After that, he stole a bridge of mine that was not supposed to be in storage at a secret Stark warehouse in Long Island. So certainly Stark gets screwed up again. Okay, so, how many event comics are we going to do where Tony Stark clearly has done something incredibly stupid and somehow it causes the complete destruction of the universe? And then he somehow made off with a mutant gateway, which were supposed to be unmovable unless to anyone not possessing the mutant gene. God knows what he's thinking there. Oh, how? Can I know how? We see him getting access to the stuff, but how do you get the mutant gateway? And why don't you just ask the Quiet Council to ask Krakoa, ask Cypher to, ask Krakoa to, express, does it know where it went? He then scored with an immunity lance he found in the sanctum. And finally, in the ruins of Atlantis, he secured one of the few functioning Diluvian shields, apparently at no small cost. The why of why we have gathered here today is the lingering question. What is the Maker making? Given enough time, I'm sure we could make some assumptions on what he's building based on the resources gathered. But 2 gateways, both the spear and the shield? Why the redundancies? It's a message to the inevitable gathering of a group of us. Some kind of unmistakable grand gesture, talking slowly for the children. He wants us to know. Yes, and the components he stole are unique and identifiable. He has to know that we will be looking for those energy signatures, and he has to know that we'll know when he turns it on. So what's he waiting for? We then cut to that same day in Brooklyn, where Miles Morales is sleeping. How could you possibly sleep with the world moving as it is? The gears of this fraudulent, infernal machine grinding our bones to dust. And Reed Richards arrives, much to Miles' shock and horror. What the? Who are you? Have we not met? I cannot tell with so many of you. The masks and monikers, and more than that, the repetitive nature of so many of you heroes. Who the hell are you? Oh, you are Miles Morales, and I am your brother. What? No, that's not true. That's impossible. Search your feelings, Spider-Man. You know it to be true. No! Actually, it's kind of obvious you're not my brother, like, in any way possible. Anyways, the Maker talks more as he ignores the question. I read about it in his records. It was some trick of the universal rebirth and reality shaping, and as I understand it, but according to the secret history, it's something every creature on this planet in this universe shares. But you and I have something that sets us apart from them, apart from their shared history. We are the only two survivors of a dead universe, Miles. There's also the illegitimate son of Ultimate Wolverine, who was transferred over to the Marvel Universe, but we don't talk about him for some reason. The only living children of gods erased from history. Did you know that? Did you not? No, not in the way I do now. But if you know, then you must feel the same itch that I do. The one you cannot reach, the one you cannot scratch, the pool of nothingness and oblivion that we share with the world we are from, the feeling of lives erased and forgotten. Why are you here? I am going home. Would you like to come with me? Oh man, you're totally serious, aren't you? Yes, it felt wrong to go and not ask you to come along. I would want to be asked if the roles were reversed. Yes, if Miles Morales was a complete asshole. So he turns it down. Nah, I'm good. And then Reed Richards, frowning, Ultimate Reed Richards frowns and then hands him a blank business card. If you change your mind. And teleports away. Huh. It's blank. Miles stares out to the window as he contemplates what just happened. As we get narration of the next day. You're not getting away with this! We're gonna stop you! Yeah, the Illuminati's gonna stop you, and then we're gonna use the device for ourselves! What? Nothing? Now, Reed, why would you lie to yourself like that? How can you stop me when you know neither where I'm going nor what I'm going to do? And I promise you, by the time you do figure it out, I will have already left you long behind. My path, you see, is set. My course fixed. We'll follow you. We'll find you. The bridge controller is set to purge and randomize as soon as I travel through. You might be able to find where I went if I didn't run the sequencing through the gateway, but I did. And as we both know, that kind of biological encoding is the best encryption under this or any other sun. It can be done. Anything can be done. Yes, but the time it would take, it's measured in years, decades even. Do you really want to find me that badly? That depends. Where are you going? And more importantly, what are you planning to do? Xavier brings up, and of course they don't make that the joke obvious statement whatsoever of, why do you look like me so much? So anyways, Ultimate Reed Richards just goes all cryptic, saying this: I'm going someplace I can call my own, someplace I can create, as I was intended at my creation. And main continuity Reed Richards, yeah, it's confusing, I know, finally deduces what he's planning to do. Oh god, I know what he's going to do. We have to stop him while we still can. Do it! Do it now! And the Illuminati all fire their energy beams and powers and screams and telepathy and pulse blasters, and it causes a massive explosion only to fail ingloriously. As Ultimate Reed Richards just smiles and says, "Finished? You know better than that." Do I? I've often wondered if our roles have been reversed. Would I be any different? Would you? It's why I waited, why I left this trail for you to follow. It was for this moment so I can ask you one simple question. If you could do it all again, if you could truly change things, if you had the chance, would you erase me from existence? Reed Richards doesn't answer for a brief moment until he says, yes. As Ultimate Reed Richards frowns and says, I'll keep that in mind. As he escapes with the Illuminati staring at the now open portal, with the forlorn danger of evil that's spreading across the cosmos. Epilogue 6160. Great artist steal. That is the tagline of artificial intelligence, damn it. Now, but also then. You're late, Peter Parker. What a surprise. I know, Liz, I know something came up. Something always comes up. Whatever, you're here now. This better be good. So where do you want to? We should go this way, the East Wing. The doctor has built some new machine. There's supposed to be a demonstration. I don't want to miss it. Wow, look, there it is. Maybe it's just me, but it feels like this could be the things that changes the world. If I could have everyone's attention, please, this is the Isotope Genome Accelerator. I think you're easily impressed, Parker. I think I just dream big. Dream is the right word. Because if you think that one day that's going to be you up there, wowing the world with what you've done, well, I don't see it happening. I think you're just an average guy getting ready to have an average life. But hey, I could be wrong. Who knows, Parker? Maybe you'll get lucky. Wow. Ungrateful. Binge. As the spider slowly descends down onto Peter Parker's hand, only for a hand to smack Parker's hand, and hearing a voice capturing the spider as he speaks to him. Ow, what was that for? This was about to bite you. Oh, such a little thing, besides can be deceptive, can't it? Who knows what kind of reaction you might have had if it bit you? Maybe nothing happens, maybe something does. The only way to know for sure was to let the little monster have its way with you. I, however, would have had to let it happen while I watched, and with such power as insignificant in this instance as it seems, comes no small measure of responsibilities. And who really wants to live in a world where men like me stand by and do nothing? I know I don't. And so our comic ends with the Ultimate Reed Richards having taken the spider that would have made Peter Parker Spider-Man. To be continued. So we also get some behind the scenes concepts and scripted details and pencil work from Bryan Hitch. It's all pretty good. And revealing the maker's grand design and plans. So yeah, here's what I'm gonna just say. I get the feeling I might know where this is going, but I could be wrong. Hickman has tricked me before. They're going to now make Peter Parker Spider-Man in the new Ultimate Universe. They're going to make Miles Morales the main Spider-Man of the Ultimate Universe, because it's not like we can have both Parkers running around, both Spider-Men running around. It's not like there's a movie or a game coming out and whatnot that's having both Peter Parker and Miles Morales be Spider-Man. It's not like there was even in the Ultimate Universe a clone female Spider-Man that was running around as Spider-Woman. Oh, wait. But, yeah, so Reed Richards, the Ultimate Reed Richards now has the spider captured in a tube. And here's the thing, I would say this is a bad thing, but given the recent events in the Spider-Man book, this was possibly the greatest thing Ultimate Reed Richards has ever done. Oh, and I also want to bring this up and hear me out. Considering Dan Slott and Mark Bagley's run on Spider-Man and their side book that's talking about the Spider-Verse stuff, brings up what would have happened if Parker never got bitten. And it turns out his life would have been pretty damn okay, and he would have had actually a happier life with his uncle alive. He would have been respected in school because he tried to save his uncle from a thief that tried to kill them. Yeah, you see the problem with Parker nowadays? So, this just annoys me to no end. It's like, why on earth do we have to have... Like, at this point, Peter Parker's better off getting killed off in the comics than staying around and being more and more miserable when you establish that, yes, his life was actually ruined being Spider-Man, being bitten all those years ago. He was better off never getting bit. That's the narrative you've pushed, Marvel. And to be quite honest, it sickens me that they did that. That they let this go through editorial constraints. But yeah, so... enough of my ranting on Parker aside and the nature of Spider-Man nowadays. Yeah. So, there was not as much accident as you would expect from a superhero comic. In fact, this is all very tech-savvy, geopolitical, militaristic mindset with dark character moments, and Ultimate Reed Richards making the offer to Miles Morales to escape and head home. And it seems the Marvel Universe Ultimate Universe will not be 1610, but it will be 6160. So, that's interesting. But, yeah, this mostly just being set up in groundwork layout for the event of this comic. There are 3 more issues after this. The plot, this is how Hickman writes besides the usage of data pages. He goes ahead and sets things up that will be paying off for later. And given Hickman and his stuff with Marvel, it could depend on how well that's executed. Sometimes it works out well with the ultimate, with how you had the Avengers and New Avengers all leading up to Secret Wars, and Secret Wars being the culmination of his Ultimate works, his Fantastic Four works, his Secret Warriors works, and his works on the Fantastic Four. Yeah, it was just huge cosmic coincidence on that front, all build up to that big moment to be the ultimate culmination of Hickman's masterpiece. And then there are the confusing ones where Hickman had a whole bunch of ideas, but then COVID happened, then the Marvel editorial was like, we don't want to get rid of Krakoa until we say we can get rid of it because it's making money. So, and Hickman had to basically rush certain ideas out the door with the Inferno storyline that was not really the ending of his game plan for the X-Men side of the universe. And we'll probably never know what those ideas were until the day comes Krakoa is no more and he's allowed to talk about it. We'll probably never know. I'm pretty sure he has NDA agreements not to talk about it. So, yeah. The Maker is now running around changing history and is ready to start building his own side of the Marvel Ultimate Universe. So, we'll see where that comes next time. The artwork is pretty damn great. Bryan Hitch is really great even after all this time. Like I said, all the artwork tends to make me think there's a metallic alloy given to every single work, which just confuses me to no end why that is always the vibe I get. And yeah, I'm a little impressed, and I'll give compliments to Hickman that he did not go the obvious route with Xavier and Ultimate Reed Richards talking about the rather identical nature of their aesthetic suits and the helmets. You would think Marvel would be like, can you make a joke about that? Like, come on, just make a joke, reference that. You clearly made inspirations when you were coming up with the Maker character for Reed Richards' character development in the Ultimate Universe when the Ultimates was relaunched. So, yeah. Oh, man. So yeah, like I said, this Ultimate Invasion is a follow-up to basically a ton of other works he did, like the Secret Wars follow-up that never really happened. That looks like now is following up on that after nearly 8 years. Goddamn, I'm old. But I did like this interaction between him and Miles Morales, where okay, I could be wrong. He could be manipulative, and he's trying to use Miles Morales as the heart of the Ultimate Universe. But I kind of like this approach, how he's just being all courteous and, you know, offering him a chance if he wants to leave. And instead of kidnapping him and whatnot, he just was like, okay, here's the card if you want to change your mind. It's a blank card, but, you know, something's going to happen when you use it. And he doesn't, like, kidnap anybody. In fact, I don't even know how he's able to have this conversation without his parents bursting through the door, so I'm pretty sure something had to be explained on that. But, yeah. The fact that Reed Richards now remembers that, yes, he's from the Ultimate Universe, and the fact that he's trying to tell Miles, yeah, you're from that universe, you're not from here. Though I could have sworn in the Secret Wars event comic at the end, Miles did know he was from another universe and whatnot, and I could have sworn Hudson Wolverine's illegitimate son from the Ultimate Universe was brought over to the main Marvel universe. I think I could be wrong on that, and was brought up a few times. I thought he was also involved, so I thought the X-Men were going to be involved in this as well, more directly. But no, it's apparently just Ultimate Reed Richards and Ultimate Spider-Man Miles Morales. Okay, yeah, that confused me to no end. I could be wrong. Like, the Marvel continuity and DC continuities are so dense and complicated, even I cannot figure out half the time. But it was nice to see Black Bolt from the Inhumans coming back, and I can't wait to hope. And I'm hoping we see more of the Inhumans down the road, and they can coexist with the mutants. Come on, Marvel, you don't have to do one or the other mentality after so many years. Like, the last decade's over, man. Just let them coexist with the X-Men. They can be a unified force. But yeah, this is the end of the first issue of Ultimate Invasion. We'll be back again with them down the road. Oh, I can't wait to tell you how this is gonna go. And then I'll be back and then I'll be resuming my episode, catching up on a whole bunch of content, and oh boy, there's a lot to cover. But that's later, this is now. And this was your host, Eric Brown of Neo Reality Collective, owner of NRE Neo Reality Entertainment, NRE The Wrestleverse. I'll be seeing you all again. And I'll see you all soon. Stay tuned for this outro, and I'll see you all again. Peace, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and have a good night, all. See ya. Peace.
Be sure to donate to the brand and keep up to date with additional content on YouTube channels such as Neo Reality Entertainment, NRE The Wrestleverse, and NRE Pop Culture Omniversa.